Jordan Leroy Hansen, also known as Ledev. Now, I was originally going to have a deck tech video out this Friday, but I'm delaying that till Saturday because, well, they actually announced the Pharaohs expansion at the Video Game Awards as of this recording. I thought it was just going to be something quick. I see the new announcement, see if they have a few cards, and then I would just get on to the deck tech video. But it turns out I think I kind of want to feature this new event they have, which is the After Party, and it's a bit of a doozy. Now, what they decided to do is they took the feature characters from the new expansion, which in this case is Ashiok and Elspeth, for obvious reasons since we're going back to Pharaohs, and decided to do what I like to call kind of an absurd Planeswalker versus deck type of event. Now, the reason why it's absurd is because what they essentially did is they took what basically amounts to Planeswalker decks and gave them a legacy, or you could even debate a vintage upgrade to them. What do I mean? Well, to put in perspective, there's Motzes in the deck. There's a Black Lotus. Oh, and by the way, there's also Ancestral Recall. Oh, and also an Underground Sea. Let's see, there. Around here. Ah, there we go. So yeah, they decided to take some cards that are essentially part of the Power 9, which are ridiculously absurd power cards, and just feature them in this deck that are just essentially Planeswalker decks, since it just has their featured Planeswalker, in this case, Ashiok's Nightmare Muse, and just says, hey, make this deck together, throw it out, see what happens. We also get some new cards from the new set in here, like from this one we get Inevitable End and also stuff like that. I'll talk later about the cards in a later video and such. Pretty much got spoiled for the first week and such, but for now, I'm going to show off this deck, which is nice, but also the Elspeth deck, which is actually legit really good too. Like, yet again, Power 9, Mott's Pearl, Black Lotus, also Soul Ring, because why not? And then there's also just a new card here, Datso's Blessed by Sun. Quick 2 words on this card. This card's actually really legitimately good in my opinion. And also the new Elspeth, featured Planeswalker of this deck. I played with her a little bit from playing the event for a few times, and I actually legitimately think this card is actually a lot better than people give it credit for. When you can recur this card about 2 to 3 times, it's actually legitimately pretty good. Now, to be fair, they did make the deck designed to feature the card, so to speak, so within Standard, that could be another story, but for what I've seen so far, the card's actually legit good, as well as the new Ashiok, but anyway, I'll play each a feature match of each deck, maybe we get some new cards from the old set, maybe we'll get ourselves a little history lesson of some of the power level of some old cards. Let's find out. Anyway, first starting with Elspeth, so plus Elspeth, it's pretty easy to actually get Q in. Actually, tonight, it's really hard to get a Q in for Ashiok because many people are just looking at the Ashiok deck and it's like, that's the Power 9, I am playing that deck. Anyway, so we're going against Sly. We got a decent hand, not a broken hand. I think I'm going to take the free mulligan because one thing I kind of known in this format is you kind of want to try to get a broken hand if you can. But still, this is decent, we can keep it. We're going to play that, play Allegiance Landing out. And see what our opponent plays here. Okay, they're playing a little slow. I think we have a choice. I think I'm going to play the first striker out, just because it has protection from black, and hey, we're going against a blue-black deck, so nifty. Also, just great to have this old Pharaohs card in this deck, because this is just a legitimately good card, and kind of like the Voltron-y decks of the original Pharaohs block and such, when that was in Standard, so legit nice inclusion. Anyway. Oh, thought I heard something, so let's see. So I'm gonna play this. Okay, we got Quench. Everybody knows how good that card was in Standard, so they are not letting that resolve. Anyway, we're just gonna swing in. Plus, also could just be a possibility that they didn't want us to transform Legion's Landing. Okay, that's a little annoying, but we do have a 2/2 to block it, so not end of the world. Okay, so we were able to protect from damage, so what I'm going to do here is just swing, swing, swing. That allows us to flip the land, which is nice. Let's see our opponent blocks. If they block. Makes sense. Okay. No Flame Tongue Kavu shenanigans for blue in this case. There we go. Then we're just gonna play this. Honestly, scrying is just a better thing to do here. Get a Memorial to Glory, which I'm gonna keep that on top. It's a land, but it gives us more tokens, and we're pretty much a go wide strategy with this deck. As typical for the mono white strategy. The only catch is they do hit us, so they can get cards from us. Okay, specific card. Oh. Yeah, steal our mocks. Yeah, this card gets a lot better once you in this format, specifically when you remember that you can actually steal Black Lotus. For people who don't know, Black Lotus is considered one of the most powerful cards. Like, it's restricted in many of the Eternal formats, like, I think it's restricted in Vintage, mostly because you can do shenanigans like that. And they didn't even have to use the Black Lotus yet, which, ooh, that's scary. Okay, what do we do here? Well, we want to keep this block up. Does this give it vigilance? It does. So, what we're going to do here, put it on this. Don't think there's a negate-like card in this format, but they do have access to the Black Lotus, which is fast mana, so... Ah, yeah. Well, that was a twist. Well, both of these are tapped down, so we're just going to swing in because we kind of have to. Do we have any cards in our graveyard? No. Okay, so let's take a look here. Well, they play their own Black Lotus. They haven't played the card that they stole from us yet. Oh. Let me try to target this annoying little bugger. I would like my creature back, thank you. They probably have the counterspell, though. That's Scries, if I have to make a guess. That they do. Ugh, that art's still creepy. Oh, as for quick 2 cents on the card, good for draft, but unless you really need the scry ability on a counterspell, there's better counter magic options currently in Standard. But still, good draft fodder. So. well. We're going to hold up this. Good boy. Okay. Also, one thing, it is kind of neat to see this new background for the Pharaohs, just like in the kind of like Knits, Starfear Knits area. Actually, legitimately pretty cool background. There's the midnight clock. Honestly, I'm gonna play that. Put a counter on our kitty. Wait, could you tap for any color? Or, no, wait, you could spin mana of any color to activate. That's really annoying. We'll just make a token. We're not dead yet. We still have cards in our deck that could help us, potentially. We're definitely saving on this for a potential lethal. But the problem is our opponent does nil us pretty good, so we've got to be careful of that. Oh boy. Excuse me, you did what, opponent? Okay, they must be like holding up like counter magic or... Okay, yeah, stealing more of the power. I would say one thing I noticed with these feature matches of these decks, if you don't get the power 9, you kind of bit trouble. Makes sense, but still it is kind of feels a little bad when it's like, oh, I get all my power 9 stolen from a FIFA Sanity. But still, I'm still surprised they gave us this. Which makes me think they might have the counter magic spell that allows you to counter a planeswalker. At least I think that's the case. Oh, you gotta be. Eh. What's the old saying? You can't even be mad, you kind of have to laugh. Okay. But they... Actually, that's going to help us out a lot. So, we're just going to X out some land, since we don't really have any way of land recursion in the deck design, so...
My shadow. Heroes, rally to me.
4, 8. My opponent's thinking whether or not they want to attack into the Elspeth. They decided to attack into the Elspeth. We actually don't mind this. Oh, wait. They decided to go for face. Oh boy. What did he steal from us this time? Wow, it's gonna be our Mott's Pearl. I'm gonna bet you it's the Mott's Pearl. Okay, decide to play out there, Ashiok. Makes sense. I'm gonna create a token. Okay, I gotta do the math here. We play out the Harmonious Archon. That's free suits. They can only block 2. Oh wait, that's lethal. And now you're gonna see why this card is actually a lot better than you think. So we're gonna play Harmonious Archon. Please don't be countered, please don't be countered, please don't be countered, please don't be countered. Please. We're going to do the minus on our lifelinkers.
Find your valor and fight.
And just swing in for lethal. Because no matter which way they block, if they block the biggest things... Ooh. That might have been me being cocky. Okay. Do we still got this even if the opponent does that? What they gotta do to win this is they have to do a minus, and then they have to block very carefully here. So, made sense. We had our stuff at Sao. Okay. Now we're dead, but that was close. That was actually a really good game. We thought we had a good comeback, but they were lucky enough to be able to get the really, really good counterspell kind of, or not counterspell. They were able to flash in and do the combo. That was actually a legitimately pretty good match. And we could even make the joke that it kind of featured this deck being pretty good when most of the power plays they had is stuff from our board, from our deck. Okay, so featured Elspeth. Let's actually feature now and try out one quick Ashiok match and then call it a night. Because I gotta get to bed after this. And now, if you excuse me, we're going to be waiting because... Oh, we got a match. Nice. We're going to go against Ram. Very nice. And now time to show some silly shenanigans. Okay, we got a Mott. We got a Memory Drain, Doom Blade, Midnight Clock, Nightveil Sprite. Yeah, we keep this. Good turn 1 play for our opponent. We're going to play this. We're going to play our Mox. We're gonna play Nightveil Sprite. We'll take it. Well, yeah. There we go. We're going to attack in. We are keeping that on top. nice combo for our opponent. And they got the Sword of Fire. Oh, now that was nice. Oh, by the way, we can play with swords in this event. Well, the white Elspeth deck only has a sword, but still, just, like I said, just seems like they decided to be like, hey, let's make a legacy upgrade to all the decks. So we're going to play a Midnight Clock. Then we're just going to play a Black Lotus because we can hold up the Memory Drain to counter the sword. Do we want to counter the sword? Yeah, we kind of want to counter the sword. Let's see. Am I being greedy if I keep the mounts on top? Yeah, let's get greedy. Yeah, I know the power of that card. It's better we counter that. Well, I did really want to use a counter spell on the sword. Actually, good way to scry, so... You know, yeah. Now that we know we couldn't counter the sword, we probably should dig for more gas. Ooh, Death Touch. Perfect. Yeah, we're keeping that on top. And honestly, we're just going to put an hour clock on the that, since we don't have any cards in our hand, and the mana sink is just nifty. Seriously, a lot better brawl card than people give credit for. Okay, they're going to tap both of these down. Yoink. Gonna keep that on top. There is a reason why you see only control magic spells in current standard costing really high, because a control magic for 4 mana is pretty legitimately busted. Okay, so this has protection from blue and from black. This is not a blue creature, so you block here, block here. There we go. We're gonna sacrifice this. And our opponent's like, nope. Nice. We were able to recover from that. That was awesome. Though they had a really good aggressive start, so... Anyway, those are the Game Awards after party decks. I'd say give it a shot if you have Arena. They're pretty hilarious. It's like kind of one of the very clever marketing moves they did, just to both show off the potential of historic cards that they could be introducing, because oh dear, if they actually introduce a possibility of playing the Moxen or Ancestral Recall or any of the old power level cards in historic, that would be insane. But I'll give a quick 2 cents on the feature cards at least, and I'll do card reviews on the other stuff. So, Ashiok Nightmare Mules. I think this card is a really, not amazing, but it's good. I think the fact that you can create a 2-free and 2-free with the Black Nightmare creature with the ability to, whenever it attacks or blocks, exiles, really good for middle deck strategies. -3 is also really good, helps protect itself as well. makes the opponent forced to exile. And the -7, one thing to keep in mind with the -7, very, very powerful card. Just the powerful ultimate, because keep in mind, it's just cards that the opponent owns and exiled, not just cards that got exiled thanks to Ashiok. Yeah, Ashiok's going to be your main source of exiling, potentially, but the factor is you then now can tailor your deck design to essentially have cards to exile cards from your opponent's graveyard, or maybe exile them from hand, or even use cards like, say, Nicol Dragon God, which makes the opponent's force the exile, and also has some kind of like internal format shenanigans, like, you know, let's say maybe you can cast a card that got exiled with a sliver counter thanks to Karn and stuff like that. So keep an eye. I do think this is going to be a pretty fun, powerful card, but meta warping, it's hard because Questing Beast is in the format, so I gotta keep that in mind, but still, really good card. Also, the other feature card I will say is Elspeth Sun's Nemesis. Honestly, a lot better than people give it credit for. The factor that it's a very recursive threat is very nice. As you could see in the first match, for us being able to pull it back from our hand, we were able to get that game pretty close by just being able to do the buff. If it weren't for the fact that the opponent had a really good counter, kind of like our attack, we would be able to actually swing in for lethal. If a go-wide standard deck is possible in this new meta, I think this card's going to shine. The only catch-22 is we are also in a format where there's just cards just as, like, pretty much like Kaya's Wrath and such, so. And also a lot of graveyard hate shenanigans can be possible, especially since people are trying to counter the Jund Food deck, so. I think the card is good. I don't think the card is busted, which I think many people are. That's kind of what the initial disappointment is. It's like, oh, it's not a busted Planeswalker. It's not like an Oko or all that stuff. But honestly, it's just a really good card that will probably, if a go-wide token deck can be possible in this meta, we'll see play, in my personal opinion. Anyway, I hope you all have a good night. I can't wait to see all the new Pharaohs cards. This set looks legit exciting. So, you all have a lovely night. This is LevDev, signing out. Bye.